Museum. I'm Marquette, and we're so glad you're with us to stay curious with Triple T, Travis Thompson.
Yes,
How are
sir.
you, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good today.
Good, good. With
Yes,
Triple
sir.
T was the lead of the White Room, putting astronauts in their spaceships
Yeah,
off and on for 30 years. We got behind us here, Travis,
that's cool.
contrails yesterday morning. There you go, Marty. Uh, I'm blue and you're red.
Yeah, that
Actually, a
works for
photograph
me.
I took of the Atlas V contrails from the SRB, and then the smoke as it went up into space over and got colder up there. Two launches yesterday. We're going to see pictures of them here in a minute.
Yeah, that was history, right?
Yes, yes. One at 6:30 in the morning, and one a little after 7 o'clock last night. I saw both of them myself.
Me too.
Yeah, history being made. And
Yeah.
then there was a third crewed flight in Texas by Blue Origin for the sixth time, taking 6 humans to a 11-minute suborbital ride where we're going to see a picture of a local businessman that spent a little time weightless up there. So, Triple T, good to have you here today. How
Yes,
things
sir.
going out there in the world?
Not too bad. I'm getting better physically and all. I'm hoping, everything's okay. So, and I appreciate everybody's support.
Good. Well, we're getting, we want you back. We are opening Monday, so August 8th, the doors will be open here at our
Can't
museum.
wait to give more tours.
How do you like our new look?
Oh, it's looking really good. I hear the vacuum cleaner running all day, but
Yeah, we got to clean up our new carpet, get ready
brand
for
new
guests.
carpet.
We're all excited about that, and hope that you can book a trip here to the American Space Museum and bridge the space between us there a little bit. So, Marty Winkle, my co-producer and Streamlabs engineer on our computer program here, we think we've solved our problem. We had a little fish in the barrel sound there of reverb the last couple of days, so everyone's saying we've got a good audio,
Okay,
and
good.
it's not as easy as it looks. Okay, thank you, Trekkie Techie, for straightening things out, and Bruce Jacobs, our IT guy, also.
Yeah.
Literally, I think a drop in humidity can change something with this microphone and stuff. But
Wow.
we're glad you're with us to stay curious on a Friday with Triple T. We have got one wild, crazy story, brother. You almost made it a trip to space, all right?
Almost.
And we'll talk about that here, about STS-18, one of our shuttles of August. But let's look at we want to let you buy one of these gorgeous T-shirts. We have a bunch of orders in. They're starting to print them today, and we will start shipping the Armstrong shirt hopefully next week. But keep in mind, bear with us, and we've got a wonderful T-shirt guy, Rob Summers at T-Bone Designs. He's a true professional. He wants them done right. But he's also doing about 1,200 shirts for Kennedy Space Center for the Artemis launch. So
okay.
he's covered up, and we all know about getting people to work for you these days.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but anyway, thank you, Rob. We will get these T-shirts out and be wearing one hopefully next Friday.
That'd be cool.
It's here. So there's the pics there. We got 3 birthdays yesterday that we wanted to highlight because you know these gentlemen very well. Mike McCulley was 79 yesterday. Andy Allen was 67.
Andy, yeah.
And Sam Gemar was 67 years old.
Yeah.
And the 3 of them, particularly McCulley and Andy Allen, really help our museum a lot. You've
Cool.
seen McCulley a bunch of times.
I wished I could tell you some of the jokes that Mike told in the White Room on launch day, but I can't.
Oh, okay. All right.
But he's a fun guy. I love him. And Sam Gamer, I loved him. He was just a happy person. And Andy Allen, I remember. But
Yeah.
Sam was...
Andy's a top gun there.
yeah. Those are special people.
He's born in Richboro, Pennsylvania, so I don't know if the Usiak brothers have seen his shrine there at the he's the only graduate of what's the college there in Philadelphia? Villanova. He's the only graduate of Villanova to be an astronaut.
Okay.
And I said, do they have a statue to you out there on campus, And he said, no, they got some stuff in the case, in one of the libraries there. And a good guy, Mike McCulley dedicating our women's gallery there a couple of years ago.
That's
It's
my
still up
favorite
there.
room in this museum.
Yeah. He was born in San Diego, but Livingston, Tennessee is his true hometown. And Sam Gamar is the only astronaut from South Dakota. He was born in Yankton, South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Yep. So,
Did not know that.
and tomorrow, Winston Scott's going to be 72 years old. He don't look past 60. And Winston Scott, just tell us how cool he is.
Man, he just lights up a room. Look at that smile. But a Top Gun, a jazz musician, come on, you don't get much
an
cooler than
astronaut.
that. And an astronaut.
Well, he's a good friend of our museum. He was born in Miami, in
Florida boy.
Coconut Grove, Miami. 2 trips to space. He tested the spacesuits in one of the coldest environments they could create in the shadow of the shuttle.
Yeah.
To test suits for working out on the
Human
space station.
satellite.
Human
That's
satellite there.
Awesome.
And another cool guy, Greg Shaman. Well, there's Winston recently at a Boys and Girls Club there.
Yeah. He does help a lot. That's really good for the kids. You know, you never know when you're going to ignite that spark
Right.
in a young life.
Because his
he
spark
does-
was ignited.
And he does this a lot. And
Yeah.
he's real good at it.
And he did grow up on the other side of the tracks and makes no story about it in his book Reflections, an awesome little tome about a lot of coincidences in life. Went great
He's
for
an
Winston
awesome
Scott
man.
there.
Awesome man.
Yes, he is. We love him to death, and we hope to see more of him at our events.
I hope so.
And we've got Gregory Shamatov, all right, the proud astronaut from Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Yeah.
He was raised in San Jose, California, though. And when he was 7 years old, the Apollo 11 landing inspired him to become an astronaut. And he's 60 years old today. So 198 days in space, 2 EVAs. And again, doing what the astronauts love to do, Travis. Reach out to the kids and
Reach out.
inspire that next
How
generation.
cool is that? 7 years old and you decide that's what I'm going to do, and you did it.
You did it. Yep.
That's way something.
He's an egghead from California Institute of Technology, his master's. He got his BS at a Polytech State University, an MIT doctorate in aeronautics and astronautics. So we wish all these astronauts happy birthdays. They're in our communities doing great things. There's our trio of 3 astronauts born on the 4th. And then you got 2 on the 5th, all right. Something about Leo's in the air, I guess. And astrological sign
I
there.
didn't think about that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm here for, is to think about that stuff.
Thank you.
But there's Steve Young, and Steve Young is talking tales about going to the edge of space in 5 minutes of weightlessness in the Blue Origin crew capsule that did that yesterday morning. So, you know,
I'll take a free ride.
one of the stories that Marty Winkle referred me to about Mr. Young here was he made money as a in the tech business, okay, and he was quoted as saying, "Well, when you're stupid rich, you can do things like this." So, he's only 59 years old, so maybe he'll get on one of those orbital flights up there. Marty,
Wow.
how you doing today? Anybody got any comments yet? We're doing okay. Got my little cheat sheet there of the shuttles of August. Thank you, cleaning up our desk here. You won't believe the mess I have here. But well, we were talking about. So good for you, Steve Young, one of our locals here. He has got a 3-story restaurant painted yellow called Pineapples. I'm sure it'll be packed to the hilt this weekend. Everyone wanting to get a drink there. The guy that went to space. So. Don't know if he's back in town or not, but we'll find out. That might be a good place to go.
Hey.
Across from Fish Lips down there, New Galley.
Oh, okay.
Part of
I've been to Fish
Melbourne. Yeah. So we did celebrate Apollo 15 getting off the moon, the Grumman lunar module. We had Bill Waldron here, one of the managers, one of Marty's bosses that built this. You want to check that interview out because though August 2nd, 51 years ago, we watched on television for the first time from Lunar Rover something launch off another alien world. Nobody cares, Travis.
You mentioned that last week, and I watched the news, and no, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff about it.
A whole lot. Was there anything?
I think I did see one little blurb. Today was, Apollo, blah, blah, and I was like, wow. But that was just a blurb. I mean, it wasn't hardly
the excitement of going back to space, with the Artemis, and here's the new moon rocket that
way cool.
They haven't told us yet how you're going to get the astronauts from up at the top down to bottom. Is there an elevator? Is there a big ladder? That's a pretty steep, a fur piece, it looks like, there down to the bottom. But that's the Elon Musk's Starship that hasn't flown yet, but yet that's going to land on the moon in 2 years.
Well, I think the moon is 1/6
gravity. Yes.
So maybe they'll just jump out.
On a trampoline, Marty. Throw a trampoline out there. Anyway, we'll look at that. So the shuttles of August. All right, there's our little thing of shuttles of August that that might be prematurely in my slide run here, but we got 9 shuttles of August Triple T.
Yeah.
August by the numbers is. Why don't you read off there what the August by the numbers is, buddy?
Put my glasses back on.
You got a comment about them.
First night launch and landing, STS-8, down here in the corner.
Yeah, that was on the 30th launch of the month.
And 9 shuttles, Discovery 5, all others once.
Yeah, isn't that weird? A 9 shuttles Discovery that has the most of all the shuttles, 29.
Yeah.
According to my scroll here. Had 5 in a month, and then Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, and Endeavour each had 1. And we're going to talk about your one is 118.
Yeah. 53 crew members.
How many days in space? Month of August?
74 days.
All right.
53 crew members. 6 of them were women. 3 pre-Challenger flights, 5 mission-deployed satellites, and the ISS Hard Hat mission. I remember that. I believe Jerry Ross was on.
Yeah, well, I say 3 of them were basically construction of the ISS.
Yeah,
I call them hard hat missions.
Yeah, and ISS crew exchanges, of course, and then we had 1 DoD, Department of Defense.
And those top secret ones, they don't even let you know much about them, do they?
Look, I had a top secret red badge clearance, and all you know about is what little piece you have to touch and do. So you don't have the big picture, you don't know, but all I did, we had comm equipment that we had to install, and it was DoD, ComSec.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Communication
satellite. Yeah. ComSat.
So, but you only knew your little part. You didn't.
Well, the media press tell us that they didn't see they didn't let you know until a couple of hours before when the exact launch date was. So when did they let you know to put a crew in there?
Well, what I had to do was I went to a pre-test briefing.
Okay.
Day or 2 prior to launch.
All right, so you all knew, but if you tell anyone, we'll have to kill you.
Yeah, right? That. And you weren't allowed to talk about it. You couldn't, and you had to show up and pay attention and do your thing.
So there was 10 Department of Defense missions in the shuttle era of the 80s and early 90s, and they did stop the Cold War. Seriously did. With some advantages that Jim Adamson, who flew on STS-28, we're talking about the DoD mission,
right,
has told me several times that there were some interesting things they did that convinced the Berlin Wall to come down.
Yeah.
And so forth. So was there a different atmosphere than astronauts, all business, or because they're all military, but
DoDs were, like you said, military by the book, no, nothing. I mean, they were all special because everybody knew how important it was, and some of them were launched some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know about some of that, huh?
a little bit.
Well, cool. Good. Well, you're in some of the briefings, so some of it you probably had payload special attention to some payloads, needed
Yeah.
some requirements and other things.
That's what I guess
Yeah.
I was trying to say. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. Well, we're going to get back to the shuttles of the month here. We want to brag about some cool pictures that Carlton Bailey posted for us. We're going to have Carlton on Stay Curious August 23rd.
Okay,
and
good.
then talk a little bit about his career.
Coming down to watch the Artemis.
Yeah. No. Carlton lives over here. You're thinking of Mark Usiak.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, both
okay.
Usiak brothers are coming down here.
Good.
So
I was.
they'll be down here for the Artemis launch. But there's the morning launch, Carlton. Some tough sunlight in that pre-dawn light.
Yeah.
And then he was out there for the 7 o'clock, like 7:08 launch. Beautiful evening launch of SpaceX. This was a not such a top secret, but it's a military satellite for the National Reconnaissance Agency. This is an interesting probe that's going to orbit the moon, but they're putting it in an orbit about 1 million miles from the moon, and the moon's gravity is going to suck it in, so to speak. And it'll be orbiting the moon by December.
Huh. Okay.
So, Marty, did you see both of those? Did you ride your scooter over to Spaceview Park? Well,
a real car.
a real car. And Ozzy was over there, I reckon. Was he in or is he out from vacation? Was Ozzy over there?
I didn't go to that part. I went somewhere else.
All right. Yeah, I saw it from over in Port St. John over there. So beautiful pictures, and I threw my little luck shot in there, how the colors
That's
changed in there.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. That's the SRBs of the Atlas V making the plume on the right, and on the left and on the right, the second stage engine is making the plume on the right there. So going to geosynchronous orbit. Thank you. But we're here to talk about this beast getting off the pad and this gorgeous painting.
Look at
that. I'm not sure those jets got that close to it. The T-38 is what I'm trying to say. But the T-38 pictures did take some gorgeous shots.
Oh, they did.
They had an astronaut in a T-38 jet, of course, checking the airspace and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and
they did.
I would have loved to have been in a T-38 watching a launch. You ever hear any tales about that?
I've seen him fly by me on the pad on launch day. But in the old days, we used to have the Russians had a shrimp boat right off the coast, and you never saw so many satellite antennas and stuff off of
on a shrimp
boat. But they would sit right off the coast, and the Navy would actually have to get them to move before launch.
Mm-hmm. Well, that reminds me of living 35 years in beautiful Appalachia, and you know what the official flower of West Virginia was joked to be, right? The satellite dish.
Oh, really? Oh, my God. Okay.
Because them big satellite dishes in those mountain hollers of West Virginia, Kentucky, and Virginia, coal mines. Yeah, I know those areas, brother. And, they were quite huge, some of them satellite dishes. And those rich folks working the coal mines could afford them. And it looked like a big sunflower factory somewhere or something. Some of them hollers. Anyway, well, here are, again, the shuttles of the month. Some great missions there. Our friend Nicole Stott was taken up to the International Space Station on STS-128. All right. An early mission with Judy Resnick is there in the middle bottom, STS-41D in 1984. You got an 83 mission with the first African-American Bluford, Guy Bluford, who flew 4 times. You remember much about that mission?
I just remember just being proud that here's the first African American, and I was on that mission. I know I was, and he was just a nice guy.
First night launch too, Triple T.
Oh my God!
Were there unknowns about that weren't anybody?
It was just so I thought if I remember correctly, I saw an Apollo launch at night, I believe.
There's only one, Apollo 17.
Okay, so
December 1972.
That's all I had to compare it to, and I was, 10 or 11 or 12? So we couldn't wait for this. And it was just so cool. I've seen every launch up close and personal. I was either prime or backup, and I've been within 2.5 miles of every launch. But the night launch, oh God! I mean,
What was special about it?
you see when it turns to daylight, and then you see all the birds flying away from the launch pad, and the animals, are moving, and it's daylight for like 3 minutes. 2 minutes maybe. And then boom, and then you can see the solids for so far. You could actually see them when they come out,
Yeah, when they separate.
That's 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes, about 20 miles up.
Yeah.
Marty Winkle, he also seen all the launches, including all the
Yeah.
He's trumped you because he's seen all the Saturn V launches too.
I've seen all the
Right,
Apollos. I just haven't. I've seen all the Apollos. I got here in '66.
Yeah.
So I've seen.
Yeah, you saw them all too. Interesting.
Yeah.
But this one had such excitement and press and media
God.
coverage. Richard Truly was the commander.
Dick.
You remember him much? Anything?
A little bit.
Anecdotes about him? I think he's a Navy man.
Navy squared away. That's squared away guy.
Well, that's why you're commanders. You don't want some goofuses like you and me. Having the stick there too long. Okay, you can let it sit there.
He was cool. He was a good, in charge.
Good.
Guy,
Good. Well, the animals is what I enjoy hearing about. Now, do crocodiles make a noise? Someone told me, I think, that you could hear them making a noise after the launches. They were so aggravated.
Well, the alligators, because what a male gator does to attract a female is he has this grunt vibration, and it's a loud kind of thing, and that's how they attract the female. Well, when the shuttle launched, all the gators would come up because some big thing just made a bigger sound than they did, so they all came up and started doing their thing. So it was and plus it is a national wildlife refuge.
Absolutely.
So there's so many birds and stuff. That's when it lit up at night and you saw all these birds just hauling butt.
Yeah.
It was cool. So yeah.
And then the anticlimax of it, it's gone. It's gone to space, and then night returns.
I got to close the hatch and I got to open it when they landed.
Let me see. I was looking to see what
night
time
landing
that
was cool.
That was it. Oh my God, night! You're talking like, middle of the night, 2:32 a.m. was that launch.
I remember being there for that.
And then it landed September 5th, 83 at 12:40 a.m. Pacific time. So that's even 3:40 here at Edwards Air Force Base. So Richard Truly, Brandon Steen was the pilot, Dale Gardner, Guy Bluford, and William Thornton, one of the real pioneers of medicine in space. And William Thornton doesn't get enough credit for he knew they had to exercise in space.
Yeah,
and he has a patent on some of the.
That's why I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the bald-headed guy in there, William Thornton.
That's why now they do 2.5 hours a day.
Yeah.
Of exercise.
Yeah, and then they still come back weak as can be. So, well, Triple T, you've got kind of an unbelievable story. You got several unbelievable stories, but this came about when Marty, my co-producer and partner in crime here for 2 years and 620 episodes, was reading the book Endurance by the awesome astronaut, identical twin Scott Kelly, his brother Mark. Scott's the one that spent 11 months on the space station, broke the record of duration of Americans. And he talks about 115, and we're talking about the closing the hatch.
118.
And 118. Thank you, Marty. 118. And there's the patch for 118. And there was a problem closing the hatch. To set the stage, the combined crews of the ISS and Endeavour in 2007, August 8th, at 6:36 p.m., so it was a nice twilight launch. The 22nd flight to the International Space Station, Endeavour's 20th. You had astronaut Richard Mastricchio. You had Dave Williams, a Canadian Space Agency. They were on their second missions. Barb Morgan, Tracy Caldwell, and Al Drew were on their first. And Commander Scott Kelly and his Charlie Hobaugh was his pilot.
I remember Charlie, yeah.
So the book says the hatch had presented problems before. The closeout crew, who knew the equipment better than anyone, and that's you, felt it was closing properly. But no one wanted to risk our lives on that hunch. They shut the hatch, open it again, shut it again, open it again. All right. So tell us, take it from there.
We knew that it was locking because it was all mechanical from the outside. But what was failing was the micro switch on the inside was not telling them that it was closed. So we opened it, closed it, like you said. And then they decided somebody needs to go inside. So, hello. And I went in, I took a little continuity, a little meter to check the continuity between the switch and to verify that all of the dogs were indeed locked.
Now, dogs are the little latches.
There was like 16 around the hatch.
Oh, well, let's look at the hatch here. Sorry, folks, there to interrupt you there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got there's the hatch we're talking about. We'll get back to that.
That's it. Closed. There it is, open. But if you can imagine, there's 16 dogs around the green part there, and then once it is shut, the dogs, when you turn the T-tool, the dogs close against the rim, and that keeps the hatch closed.
So you're climbing around. This is between the mid deck and the.
I'm on the mid deck by the potty.
There's three astronauts down there with you.
Three astronauts were right next to me, and the other four were on the flight deck.
Yeah, up there.
So somebody had to go in and check it. So I went in, and this is what it looks like from the inside. That hatch weighs 383 pounds, and but it's on bungees, so you're not picking up the whole weight, you know.
Wow, pretty heavy.
But it's heavy. And we knew from the outside it was locked, but I had to go in and verify it by the switch. And so I crawled in.
So
they shut the hatch.
So eventually Rick Mastricchio, who could stretch himself to see the hatch from his center seat on the flight deck, announced that the hatch was closed, but we now have an 8th crew member. And the countdown clock had started. One of the closeout crew had come into the space shuttle with us to inspect all the dogs, the bolts that the hatch, to hatch the surrounding structure while the hatch was closed. He was able to confirm that it was working properly, and then the hatch was open again so he could jump out. And he says an ingenious and practical solution, and one I hadn't thought of myself. And you outthought Scott Kelly. That's some brain power there, brother.
How about that?
Really? So
you know what I wanted to do was crawl inside the potty.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
thinking I'm inside a loaded, ready to launch space vehicle.
Countdown going on.
And the countdown is on. And how about just staying in and saying I'm out? But no, they had to watch me come out.
So I consult the scroll, and that was Mike Leinbach's, the launch director there. And you've told us many times you only have 50 minutes to put the crew in. So opening and closing the hatch a couple times was eating. So what's he saying?
I only get 10 minutes to close the hatch. So this really ate up.
So what was Leinbach saying to you?
Well, I get a courtesy phone call you know,
Yeah.
how, you know, and I'm like, yes, sir, I'm on it. Kind of just hang up real quick. Don't want to talk.
Yeah.
But, you know, as long as I don't go on his net to get my butt chewed,
Yeah.
you know, I kind of just say, hey, I'm working it as fast as I can. And we did. And my guys were truly amazing. Because they, like, what did he say? We knew it the best, whatever his words were. Those guys really did.
Yeah. The closeout crew, who knew the equipment better than anyone, felt it was
Yeah.
closing properly, but we couldn't go launch on that hunch.
Right.
So you climb in there and almost get yourself.
I was in.
So what the other six, seven white guy, six white room
Oh
people?
man, they were all standing out there. I was like, man, that was cool. You know, when I came out, I was like, you know, that was. But I was in a real rocket ship ready to launch. How many people can say that?
There you go. Instead of being on the outside of it there. So, well, what a wonderful mission that was. Barbara Morgan was on that, the teacher in space. So she must have been wondering, gee, what's going on? Because she'd been waiting from 1987, basically,
Yeah.
20 years to fly.
Because she was
And
Krista's backup.
Tracy Caldwell, you all that watch the NASA channel see Tracy on there with she does the space station life on the space station stuff, and she's a Capcom at Johnson Space Center. You can see her
Right.
sometimes on there. So
You know, that would be a cool job. I would love that. Capcom talking. That would.
Yeah.
I love that.
So good book here, huh, Marty? Endurance by Scott Kelly there. And a great story by you, Triple T. We flew by this picture that we wanted to kind of put to rest any urban legends about this hatch, all right? What are you holding there?
That is actually a fire rescue T-tool that they would use in case of an emergency to open the hatch. This is not the T-tool that we closed the hatch with, because we had to have a locking mechanism on our T-tool. So this T-tool fire rescue would use, you put it into you can see it's a square drive at the end. So you put it in and you take your palm of your hand and hit it, and that unlocks it. So then fire rescue can twist it and open the hatch. So, but that's what that is a T-tool that I totally lied to my fire rescue guys and said I didn't have. Because I didn't realize that I had it. And they wanted to know if I could, because there's one other one and it's laying in the bottom of the turn basin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of them dropped it when we used to put the flight deck, the mid deck, the capsule. We had one that was made out of wood and fiberglass, and they'd put it in the turn basin, and we'd do rescue, like if it landed in the water or whatever. And one of the fire guys dropped it, and there's a bunch of gators in there and stuff, so nobody's ever gone and got it. So that one is the only other one that I know about.
Well, now, Travis, everybody knows that's a space shuttle geek knows that the commander has the only combination in keys to the hatch, right?
Not true.
Not true.
No, that's bogus.
Well, what if I go crazy and want to open the hatch and jump out?
Anybody can, actually. That's why you go through so many psych stuff to be an astronaut. But all it is, really, to tell you the truth, there's a black and yellow handle, a switch, and you just flip that down to open, and you grab the thing and turn it, and the hatch comes open. But you are also in a pressurized cabin, and I wouldn't recommend opening it.
Right. Suck you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you open it up,
I
check
wouldn't-
it out like
yeah.
in the airplane movie.
So I think they know, if they're going to go nuts, they'll do something else. I don't know.
Well, it is an urban legend, and
Yeah,
there is no
no key,
combination
there
or
is
no lock
no,
or
that's a bunch of crap.
okay, a bunch of what? A bunch of urban legend. That's what we
Yeah,
want because
that.
you're the guy
I
that
do.
you're the guy
That's
that locked yourself in there. All right,
Yeah.
and
And you can almost see it right there. There's a handle that
on the right
that
side
you
there.
turn,
Okay,
and
that black handle on the right there, Marty. There you
somewhere
go.
in there.
Yeah, looks like right in there.
Yeah.
Huh?
And so you just flip that
Huh.
from locked to unlocked, and boom, you're out.
Well, interesting stories, tales from the White Room only. Travis Thompson can tell. Of course, there's a whole bunch of them that he can never tell on live
Some I can't.
video podcast. He can't even tell me some of them.
Yeah.
But I hope you enjoyed that. William Whiting and Dave Husett and Gary Jarrell will be in Titusville Monday. All right, Gary, we'll look forward to seeing you. Come by and we'll give you a shout out on our Stay Curious, Star Curious show.
Yeah.
Chris Callie's watching. Hi, Chris. We got a lot of orders coming in as we unleash the promotion this week on those beautiful T-shirts. We want to thank this young lady, Karan Conklin, our executive director,
Yeah.
for doing a great job and keeping our all of our wonderful personalities in check here, because we're all so passionate about preserving the birth of America's space age, and because of Karan. And she's been involved with this museum almost 20 years.
She's helped me a lot.
4 years as our director, and we don't talk enough about her. And she'd be horrified if I put her picture up there.
No.
But we love you, Karan, and your leadership just keeps getting. We just keep going into better places.
Yes, ma'am.
As we're allowed to do things to reach out in the community and our STEAM education. So there's Chris Callie's beautiful painting of Ed White's spacewalk on the left. His dad's Neil Armstrong penciled sketch on the center. And The Power to Go, which is a 2-story mural at Huntsville, Alabama's U.S. Rocket and Space Center.
I need to go there.
So we need to go there. We need a big road trip there. We got a lot of friends there.
Do that.
So,
Let's check it out.
and eat some good old German schnitzel, and you can hoist a mug of beer there. So
I just lost my German girlfriend, so I'm single now. So yeah, let's go.
all right. Well, the only way I'll let you date Travis is if you buy a T-shirt. Okay.
Yeah, come on.
So, Chris Callie, thank you for promoting our museum, and we can't wait to get these T-shirts on his family's back and get him up there where he lives in Connecticut. And we know the USIAC brothers are watching, and thank you. And also Larry Pusker's watching, so everybody, thank you for another great week of Stay Curious, Triple T. Another wonderful tale in the books. Thank you, brother.
I can't make it. I'm not smart enough to make it up.
There you go. Marty, thank you for a great week. A little problem solving to do as usual, but thank you all for hanging with us.
You did a good job.
On our video podcast. And we'll be open Monday, so that means we hope to see you in our museum to bridge the space between us.
Come see me.